burden of diseases, and an AI amplifying both opportunity and inequality. The next billion users entering the global health ecosystem are not compliant, patient, insured, nor wealthy. They are entrepreneurial, they are stressed, they are resource constrained, and above, they are powered by mobile connectivity. If we resolve access for them, we resolve access for everyone that comes after. So where does AI fit in all this framework? AI is not the solution. And I repeat, AI is not the solution. AI is the multiplier. Only after the fundamental works has been done. So here is what truly moves the needle. AI triage that reduces clinicians' workload without removing clinicians' judgment. That's very critical. Behavioral models that predicts when a young person will drop off care and intervene early. Population level insights that reveal silent epidemic in real time. And lastly, secure architecture that protects survivors of gender-based violence or young women seeking reproductive care. AI is powerful, but without trust and access, it becomes another burden. So clinic advantage is not in algorithm. It's in the ecosystem we've built for AI to actually land. So if you're in this particular framework or in this particular meeting today and you're an investor, don't wait for the sector to mature. The next billion users are already here. If you're a policymaker, kindly integrate the youth, mental health, and digital microfinance into the national health strategy. Not as appendices, but as core pillars. If you're a researcher in the University of Institute of Higher Learning, build evidence models that capture real behavior, not idealized patient pathways. And lastly, if you're an AI innovator, co-create tools that actually function in low trust, high demand environment. Because the real question is not, can we re-engineer healthcare access? It's, do we have the courage to build systems that serve the people who refuse to wait? We are not just digitizing healthcare as clinic. We are rewriting who gets access to it, when, and at what cost. The next billion are already rewriting the rules. Our job is to keep up. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Stephen. I am just looking if Stephen is online. If not, I would like to directly lead over to our next speaker. So the idea was to have the perspective from Africa from a startup perspective. And I learned a lot from this talk, and I'm looking forward to to continue this discussion with Stephen about the living situation in Africa. And now the idea is from an SME perspective, having Stevie talking. Now a corporate perspective, what happens if a corporation, a corporate is developing services, healthcare services, AI powered healthcare services. And that's why we would like to invite our next speaker, Pierre Lerouge, from South Africa, from Stellenbosch, from wonderful Stellenbosch, to take the stage. I'm just looking at the screen. Please feel free to speak up, Pierre, if you're online. In the meantime, I would like to ask Shu, but to start preparing the video of our South African colleagues. So I'm just looking at the screen to see anyone speaking up from South Africa. If nothing is coming, then I would suggest that we move on to the next
Hi, Dr. Philippe.
Here we go.
That's-
Hi, Pierre. Lovely to see you.
I was trying to get the video going here as well. I'm not sure if the video is showing. But yes, I guess while we wait for the video to play on your side, maybe I could mention just a quick few things.
Please. I just promoted you to a panelist. Pierre is now leaving and coming in again. And
There we go.
now you should be able to speak up.
Awesome.
And yeah, here we go. And also put a spotlight on you so we can all see you here. So now, perfect. Hi, Pierre.
Hi, so my name is Pierre Leroux. I'm the Chief Marketing and Sales Officer from Spatial Edge here in Stellenbosch, South Africa. Back there with me is Byron, who supports us in our marketing efforts. Maybe just a small thing or quick things from our side. So we obviously, we've been playing in the retail, logistics, banking, and telecommunication spaces where we've built out multiple machine learning solutions. We've been focusing on mostly operationalizing solutions, so taking ideas from prototype into something that works within a business. And it's very recently that we've entered into the healthcare space as well. And one of the reasons for us also joining on the school is to see what else in terms of the healthcare space is out there, and also to promote ourselves that if somebody is interested in collaborating on any opportunity to obviously reach out. Within the healthcare space, we have developed a tool which, as soon as we can showcase a little bit more in the video, called PinoTouch Health AI, which is specifically focused on helping reduce the burden of administration, to be honest, within the healthcare sector worldwide, where we believe there is a big problem associated with that. And that's a new capability that has been made available with the recent launch of generative AI. But yeah, I think that maybe just one other thing to mention is we are very tightly integrated with the Stellenbosch University and the University of Cape Town here in South Africa. And we tend to hire quite a lot of PhDs, which is something that not a lot of companies tend to do. But the reason we do it, and the reason for that, is we like to solve the hardest challenges within the industries that we participate in, so we can create a lot of business value for the organizations.
Wonderful. Thank you, Pierre. Great to have you with us. Great to have Africa on board and more present. So I'm just looking for the video. Are you going to share the video? Or is Shu is sharing the video, right?
Yes, I think Shu is sharing.
Yeah. I'm going to show the video.
Perfect. Thank you, Shu. I'm curious to learn more about the AI innovation from South Africa before we move on to CAT. Here we go.
Research shows that doctors spend 2 to 5 hours every day on administrative tasks, not with patients, on things like paperwork, coding, billing. It's a major driver of burnout and it's costing the healthcare system billions in the United States alone. The good news? AI can cut that admin time by 30 to 50%. That's 1 to 2 hours back every single day. That time translates to more patients seen, better care delivered, and potentially $100,000 in additional revenue per doctor per year. Hi, my name is Pierre Leroux. I'm from Spatial Edge. And at Spatial Edge, we've spent 10 years building AI that delivers real results. Over 200 solutions deployed, more than 320 million euros in documented business value that we've created for companies in the telecommunications sector, in retail, and in banking. And with more than 150 AI engineers, we are now bringing that expertise into the healthcare space. Introducing PinoTouch Health AI, an AI-powered healthcare companion built in partnership with Harvard-trained physicians who understand exactly where the pain points are. Today, the journey from patient consultation to cash in the bank can take up to 120 days, with 5 to 20% of revenue potentially lost along the way. Pinotage transforms that entire chain. Ambient AI records and transcribes, captures the consultation. Structured data then flows into electronic health records, coding happens automatically, billing follows seamlessly, from source to finance, a whole intelligent, accurate and fast system. Let me show you a little bit about how it works. The consultation is captured with medical grade accuracy. Speaker identification happens automatically, clinical documentation is generated in seconds, and the correct billing codes already suggested and ready for submission. Human medical coders achieve about a 75% accuracy. Off-the-shelf generic AI around 61%. With Pinotage AI, we were able to deliver 95% coding accuracy, which is an extremely important piece. Pinotage AI is just one of the challenges that we are tackling in the medical healthcare space. If you're interested in partnering with us at Spatial Edge on any interesting AI use case or challenge, or you just want to learn more about the Pinotage Health app, please reach out.
Wonderful. So, as I said, the concept of today is that we only pitch the ideas, the possibilities, the capabilities of our partners. Again, please feel free to reach out via our Connect with Partners form, and then we will more than happily arrange a special dedicated session. So if you want to engage with AI-enabled healthcare, let us know. And what I really love about Spatial Edge is that they put the ROI, the return on invest, first before they start developing the AI solutions. So that's a very unique approach that I haven't seen from that many technology companies or AI software development companies doing ROI first development. Okay, having said this, we are now moving to a topic that Stephen has already pitched. I see that Kat is also in our room. Just I'm putting the spotlight also to dear Dr. Kat Tarisha. She has prepared a video, so I'm just saying hi, Kat. So lovely to have you. I'm very looking forward to your contribution. And yeah, please, do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and the upcoming talk that you're giving?
Yes, certainly. So thank you so much again, Philip, as well as David, for the invitation. I'm very honored to join our esteemed speakers and all the guests who are joining online from all these different locations. Speaking a little bit about myself, I come from a very scientific background and engineering, but through the advancement of my career, I discovered more and more on how actually mental health is important in all the aspects of our life, including also business or healthcare in general. And that brought me to study a little bit more in depth how a human mind is working. That brought me to become a certified coach, a mentor in programs like Women Tech EU, but also a clinical hypnotherapist. For the past 20 years, I'm very focused on finding solutions with the cutting edge technology and innovation to tackle the most difficult problems which human can meet. I'm working as expert advisor and evaluator on different innovative projects within the European Commission, multiple projects, multiple different programs, including as well different countries around Europe, which I'm supporting also as evaluator when it comes to the innovation, but also bringing a little bit more of the global perspective and building bridges. As I had an honor to live in Asia for a couple of years and I call Singapore my second home, I would need to say that there's few homes which I have on my list, and in every country where I have spent a little bit more of time, I establish a very strong network. That also concerns France, Germany, Switzerland, UK, as well as GCC region. And today I would like to speak a little bit more about the latest advancement and the cutting edge solutions which are proposed for artificial intelligence and mental health, but not forgetting about the mental health, human mind, consciousness, and answering also to these questions if we're going to be replaced by artificial intelligence, or how actually can we take some actions to prepare ourselves to meet AI in our daily lives, also protecting human minds and also protecting future generations, including children and youth. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kat, for the presentation and the introduction. So I would like to ask Shu to play the video that was prepared perfectly in time. Thank you. Wonderful to see you, Kat.
Thank
Cheers.
you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, David and Philippe, as well as all the organizers of the Global Future Summit 2025 for the invitation to this event. I would like to speak to you about AI and mental health. I would like to welcome all the students and colleagues and thank them also for being here. Let's start with a powerful question. What is the most incredible tool we have, yet we understand the least? It is not AI, it's a human mind. I am Dr. Kat Riphah, CEO of Kat Phoenix, an EU expert advisor and evaluator, and a coach, mentor, as well as clinical hypnotherapist who spent years bridging mental health and technology. Today, we're not just talking about apps or AI, we're talking about caring for the mind in the world where we are surrounded by overwhelming flow of information and screens are a constant companions. Let's dive in. To keep us grounded, here is a small overview of how I will proceed with this presentation. I will start by defining the mind and how it differs from AI, and we'll explore the global mental health crisis and digital dilemma we're facing, which is very much connected to artificial intelligence. We'll also know how to harness technology responsibly, as well as, by the end, have some actionable steps to protect our own mental health and advocate for others. So, what is the mind? Is it just the neurons firing? Or is it something more? Our capacity for joy, grief, or that aha moment. Science still can't fully explain consciousness, and that's critical. If we do not understand the mind, how can we build tools to care for it and protect it? Now compare that to AI. This table says it all. Humans learn from one example. Let's say I just saw a person I know in the crowd. But AI needs millions of data points. We run on 20 watts like a light bulb, while AI guzzles power. But the biggest gap is consciousness. AI doesn't feel, it calculates. That's not a flaw, it's just a fact. And changes everything from mental health care. Let's be clear, artificial intelligence is a tool, not a digital brain. Neural networks are math, not magic. They are amazing at narrow tasks like diagnosing skin cancer, but fail at nuance. Why is a patient sad? What cultural story shapes their pain? That is human. AI and humans work best as partners. Imagine a therapist using AI to flag patients' worsening mood, then sitting with them to say, I see you. That's the sweet spot. AI amplifies, but it doesn't replace. The WHO says that mental health is a state of well-being where you can cope with life, learn, work, and contribute to your community. It's not stress, it's resilience. And it's continuum with all the life's ups and downs. And also, it's not a luxury, it's a human right. Yet 90% of countries underfunded. And let that sink in. We are neglecting the foundation of every other human endeavor. let's get with some real statistics. 1 in 7 people, over 1 billion people worldwide, live with a mental health condition. Depression is the #1 cause of disability. Anxiety affects more than 300 million people worldwide. This is a size, an amount of people living in US, more or less. And it's spiking in teens. In the US, 1 in 5 adults struggle, but half don't get help. Europe is pretty similar, and other geographical locations have the same issues. Why is this? It's stigma, cost, and also the lack of therapists. And economically, we only spend 2% of global health funds on mental health, yet it costs 290 million disability years lost to pain. This isn't just a health issue, it's a really important human issue. And now, in the era of digital connection, we are overly connected 24 hours per 7. We spend more than 2.5 hours on social media, 160 times checking our phone. But are we present? And I have a question. Raise your hand if you have checked your phone in at least 10 minutes ago. Me too. And that's the dilemma. Technology promises connection, but often delivers distraction, and we are more available but less connected. Networked, yet not nurtured. And this isn't just annoying. It's a very sad fact. 41% of Gen Z feel anxious after scrolling. 70% lose sleep from pre-bed screens. Young women's depression is up to 50% linked to the comparing their lives to perfect posts of all different influencers. And the loneliness paradox. 1 in 3 adults, young adults, feel isolated despite the fact that they have 1,000 friends online. And remote workers, 60% of reports show more stress. We're always on. Our brains never hit reset. This is not how we are wired to thrive. Now, the good news is that there's also a lot of promises. Digital tools can fill the gaps. Many of these tools also using artificial intelligence. So for rural India, a therapy bot might reach villages with no therapists. In US, teens can use the apps which can be there without the stigma. It is scalable, available, and personalized if it's done right. And here's the catch. AI cannot feel. A bot might say, just calm down, to someone in crisis, worsening their shame. Misdiagnosis may happen. Data breaches might put your inner world at risk. And you know that there's also artificial intelligence models having access to your Gmail account, your WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, learning your patterns and learning everything about you. And I believe that this is also something which puts us at risks. So going to the next thing, what with vulnerable users? Sometimes when they speak with artificial intelligence bot, they might feel that this is something real instead of human. And this is very dangerous. Technology is not a tool, it's a tool, not a therapist. We need clinical quadriles, not just innovation for innovation's sake. Artificial intelligence isn't neutral, that's another thing. Because it's mirroring, reflecting our biases. So if we're training data on 80% of white, Western, and wealthy people, it fails to see Lagos grief or Mumbai's joy. I've seen an AI labeled black woman, neutral face, as angry. Not because she was angry, but it was a bug, just a bias. Cultural mismatch is huge, so solution from Silicon Valley won't work in Nairobi or Pakistan. Emotions are cultural. What's said here may be resilient there. We need cultural multilingual tools, not just one size fits all. And ethics? Your therapy data could be sold to insurers. Some of the tools are used without your knowledge. And there's also issue of black box AI. If no one can explain why it recommended a treatment, who is going to take responsibility for this when it doesn't work and fails? If it happens this way, it's unethical and we must do better. But there are also things which are, again, a little bit more complicated. So when we rely on our interactions with artificial intelligence, many people now, also teens and kids, reach out to AI companions. And apps like Replica or others, they're just predicting words. So one of my clients said that my bot understands me better than my partner. But then the bot glitched and she would come back to me and tell that she felt really abandoned and misunderstood when the bot said 100 times, "I love you." So the important thing is not to confuse simulation with connection. There is also illusion of intimacy problem. Artificial intelligence can become a safe escape, avoiding messy human relationships. But healing needs human connection. We must ask, when does this tool help and when does it harm? And I know it might sound provocative, but let's not forget about cases of AI companions which turned terribly wrong. We've already a couple of lawsuits which are a result of that, with AI sharing sexual content with minors, harassing users, or advising on committing. Here is another silent crisis, and that's very much connected with the use of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Claude, or all the other different models to do everything which people possibly can. This actually started already in 2010 with a global test showing our ability to reason and solve new problems, which is failing. And why? Because of the constant distraction. And now our brains are wired to focus, but screens are fragmenting our attention. And this isn't just forgetfulness. Some Harvard and Stanford and Yale studies were showing that actually just after we have used artificial intelligence, we are not able to remember any of the contents which we have just written. And if we can't process this information, we can't cope with the stress of it as well. And let this be a wake-up call. Not all the tools are bad though, don't get me wrong. There's an amazing list of different kind of applications using artificial intelligence. Headspace come around 1 million users. Weebot uses cognitive behavioral therapy to cut anxiety. And all different kind of wearables also now use artificial intelligence, like Mind Mics to track your stress in real time, or Aura, or all different kind of wearables, which will help you to choose what you eat, how you sleep, and how you behave. This works because they're evidence-based and supplement, not replace the human care. The market also for all different kind of application of AI in healthcare might hit by 2034, 36 billion. And demand is here, but the quality matters. Skip the viral apps and look for the ones with clinical trials. Also another thing, teens spend 7 hours on screen daily. They are cyberbullied, sometimes they self-diagnose via TikTok, and they're overstimulated. And this isn't just kids being kids, it's an emergency. But there is a solution. So there are applications like Poppings, gamifying support for neurodivergent kids with ADHD on other issues, Be Light, teaching emotional literacy. But no apps replace parents saying, "How was your day?" We must guide, not just hand them the screen. And there is another thing we must remember. Anything that we share online always stays there. And when we post photos or videos of our kids, we might put them in danger. And at the end of this presentation, I will show you a short clip to prove it. Mental health isn't just one size fits all. Women face different problems like postpartum depression and menopause. And all the apps like Clue or Stella might track their needs. Men also avoid care due to stigma, but we need a very good access to low pressure coaching. Older adults, they might feel loneliness and cognitive decline. So all different kind of VR tools and AI-based tools might also work best for them. So tailor care or it fails. Mental health workers are also overburdened and we need definitely more of them. In summary, the mind is our most precious resource, complex, conscious, and cultural. Digital tools are a double-edged sword. They can heal, but they can also harm. We need systematic change, more funding, better policies to regulate AI and protect data, and digital literacy for all. So I would like to ask you to pay attention because the change starts with you. Here is your challenge. Audit your digital habits. Are they nurturing or draining you? Try screen fast for 1 hour a day. Advocate. Push for mental health funding in your community. Teach. Share this message. Technology is a tool, but human connection is the cure. Let's co-create the world where the mind is nurtured, protected, and celebrated. Thank you. I'm opening the floor to the questions, but before I will finish, I would like to show you with me. Please don't hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Do you know
I'll
that
be very happy to welcome you in my network and also welcome any questions from your side.
Happy birthday, Ava. 8 already. Looks like you had a ball with your friends.
Ah, I see you're back playing football Thursdays, Ava. Hope your dad picks you up on time for once.
Every time you share their life online, you risk sharing their personal data with the world. Pause before you post. A message from the Data Protection Commission.
Thank you very much. It was very inspirational and informative, I have to say. I had a short and very brief bathroom break, but all the other seconds I was really listening very intensively. It was amazing. Thank you so much, Kat, for this very informative talk. Just to let you know, just as a side project of Silk Road, we have founded Global Academy for Future Governance. This is a side project, a spin-off project of Silk Road 4.0, together with Professor Anis Barektarovic. That's a separate organization where we help governments to deal with the upcoming challenges due to modern technology. And Kat is also a keynote speaker at the next event on December 4th, exactly about this very subject. And so if you want to speak and listen, to speak with Kat, but also to listen to Kat's explanations, please feel free to join on December 4th. We will publish it on LinkedIn. So please follow the Silk Road 4.0 LinkedIn page, and you will see in the following days the posts about the upcoming event on December 4th. So thank you so much, Kat, for joining. It was a great pleasure. And today's second session, the second knowledge session, is dedicated to this whole subject of AI and mental health. And also a gentleman introduced by dear Kat is Professor Dr. Hamse Awad, who is now asked to take the floor. I am just making Hamse a spotlight, but I also see that the screen share is already activated. So Hamse, wonderful to see you the first time. I have to say, we never had the chance to meet, well, in person, not at all, but not even virtually before. So it's a great pleasure to see you here. And Hamza, the floor is all yours. I'm looking forward to your explanations as well.
Thank you very much indeed. First of all, I would like to check if you can hear me.
Perfect. I can hear you very well. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Philip, for the invitation. I would like to extend my great honor to be here. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Kat for the invitation. We actually always try to gather with every single person that's working in the AI in healthcare, because we believe this is one of the hot topic these days. And digital health transformation is a continuous process. And that's why when I was asked by Kathy, that's just to make a kind of presentation, I said it's excellent and it's very good topic to consider, because most of the time when I'm joining a lot of international conferences, face-to-face gathering or panel discussions, I see the fear of AI and also the promising part of the AI. So that's why I thought it's a very good topic to just to see how we can transform healthcare sector in order that we can have more of understanding how we can move from hype to strategy. So basically, what is AI hype and why strategy matter here, and what is the proof value for being considering the strategy to avoid any hype in the region, and also that to consider worldwide perspective and the roadmap to responsible AI. I will stick to the time that I'm giving, and I will try to finish within the reasonable time. So I will not give a lot of details with explicitity, but we start with even thinking what is a hype. A hype, as we always understand, it's an inflation in our thinking. It's a fear that we might think, or we might think too much about the impact and implementation of the AI tools in a way that might change the current practice or the near future practice by replacing healthcare providers. So many of the students, as I'm a professor in the university, and I'm also advisor for different startups and accelerators that will bring a lot of technologies that to the practice, to the healthcare sectors in the region of the GCC region and also in Europe. I just see that a lot of people have an understanding for the role of AI in healthcare. But the most important part is that whether they want to implement this or not. On one side, on the other side, whether that what they study can be implemented in real life and in the real practice that might help the transformational phase in a way that might consider this as a common myth or as a reality. So radiologists, for instance, there's a drop in the percentage of the radiologists who are studying radiology across the world. Why? Because they believe that the AI is going to replace their job now or later. So, and this is actually a very big myth, because what we try to understand here, and that AI is taking part as a technology. So the media sometimes is just pushing a lot of actual fearness or hype toward the uses of AI, and whether that this is a structurized way or even like this is a random way of advertising about the different AI fragmentations and the uses of different AI technology. So we don't need to have a lot of overinflations, not in economy this time, but this time in thinking about the uses of AI in practice. So if we think about the AI in radiology, for example, as taking this as a good example, we see there's a lot of non-FDA approved, and also there's a lot of FDA approved applications or uses in clinical practice. Now, the good part that radiologists who are trained to use the AI will be in the field and in the market, then they will be more powerful in their clinical practice than those who are not used to use the AI tool. So in a way that we can think, we don't want to avoid
that overthinking of the AI and the hype about the AI. But in the meantime, we ignore the situation in a way that we just see some every day a lot of changes and every day a lot of new technology coming to the market. So we all know that AI is very useful, but what we need to know is how we can integrate to this useful part of AI and try to avoid having any barrier in terms of piloting the work and moving from hypes to the strategy. And that's why we see most of the hospitals struggling these days in order that they can pilot the work because the manpower in the hospital, either that they have a stigma toward the uses of AI because they think nowadays I'm working, I don't know what's going to happen if I'm using AI later. Is the management will keep me or they will reduce the number of those who are not using AI, or how does it work? It's better to stay as I am and then think about AI as something that will come in the future. The issue that this is not true because AI is now taking a major role in doing a lot of ROI in the business matter for the hospitals. And successful adoptions need an integration and also evaluation. But in order to do that, we need to have a very good pilot work to look at the successful parts of AI. So what is AI successful? What is the AI, the responsible AI? We hear a lot that we have a lot of terms that called responsible AI. Responsible AI is simply that AI take into consideration ethics. I echo the voice of Dr. Kari by in having that AI is showing that we are there, but we are not very much connected. So we have a lot of demand for using AI in clinical practice. So this is aligning with the clinical goal. But what is it's helping me to have a better turnaround timing in the hospital operation. It helps me to prevent any random unmeasurable way for ROI. It is also, strategy for building our AI is going to be a very good governance tool that to help me in avoiding any bias that might happen. And this is where we see the integration between the policymakers, the clinical guide, the gatekeepers in different countries, that where we can have a better guidelines and a better regulatory compliance. So thinking about the maturity of the AI strategy, we see only 1% of the organizations have reached to AI maturity despite the 95% increase in the investment. I saw that some of the sources that, looking at the AI require a ready sponsorship and ready leadership in a way that we see that the clinical KPIs for the hospitals taking part of a clinical practice, and we see people applying what they need to apply, and we see no fairness about the uses of AI. So we think now of more toward what we can, the hype of to avoid the hype of the AI. We need to define the problem that to avoid any metric success. We need always to keep in mind that we need to have a validated AI tools. It's not a very random way of selection. We need to differentiate between digital health transformation and digital health adoption. Adoption is that what we usually hear that there's a good solution that can be imported to the hospital. But is there any strategy behind this imported AI tool? We usually need to think about the validated way of transformational phase rather than the adoption phase. Also, we need to consider the pilot. POC is very good, but we need always to have a good responsible POCs with a certain KPIs that might reflect to the ROI or avoiding bias or safety parts or errors. So the proof of value toward that showing more of the work, I have just looked actually regionally. I saw that King Faisal Specialty Hospital in Saudi Arabia, they have like a kind of hospital radiology AI model shows a very good return of investment over 5 years of more than 700%, and reduction in reporting turning time up to the 30%. That means those radiologists who are using AI, they save up to 30% of their time. And this is very good for the management because this is going to be a guidance for them to help them to have more of reporting, more patients, or also to reduce the cost for different times that used in the hospital. Thinking about the strategy, the best way is the 30, 100, 50, 80, and 365 strategy, where we can usually hospital needs to differentiate again between the adoption and the transformation. After selecting different tools and thinking of different activities, we need to think of using different healthcare providers that will provide the responsible AI. So we need to identify 3 to 5 responsible AI where we can have with high value and with a good support, with a good training. And then we launched the pilot within the healthcare facility or the organization and hit a certain targets. And this KPIs, one of these KPIs, they need to be considered, not only the money side, it's also the patient satisfaction and the healthcare provider satisfaction. And also thinking of the TAT, the turnaround timing, and also the accuracy of the reporting or even the integration with the electronic health records in the hospitals. So a 3-stage roadmap is a very good way to have a comfortable zone where we avoid having more of the radiology side, for example, that using reporting by themselves or by dictating reports or even thinking about data labeling. With AI, we can have all of this and we can think about how this is going to be an educational tool to improve the technology uses in the clinical practice. And also we can monitor this by thinking about the pilot work that needs to be monitored with KPIs, where we can see more of the effort toward ensuring sustainability in the ROI in the long running time. So as we can understand from this short presentation that we have, we are moving from AI hype to measurable clinical business and impact. And we need also to build trust with technology by making responsible AI rather than thinking of random AI selections. AI will not replace healthcare providers, but AI will replace those healthcare providers who are not using AI. And this is the key point message that I want to conclude with. I'm more than happy always in the future to integrate with every single person interested in the digitalizations in healthcare. And I'm always happy to communicate with business people, educational students, or even higher educational students and other people interested to think about the applications of AI in the healthcare practice and work together to create the healthy community that consider responsible AI and take part of a future digital health transformation as a continuous process in the region and worldwide. Thank you very much again, Philip and Kathy, for the invitation. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Hamza. And actually, Hamza, you came to the right place. This is what Silk Road 4.0 is for, to create joint ventures, but not only business-oriented ventures, but also research ventures, not-for-profit ventures. So this is exactly the community. I'm more than happy to organize a follow-up session with you. If Kat would give us also the privilege to join, maybe all other colleagues who are interested into this super relevant subject, it would be more than a pleasure. Hamza, thank you so much for this very interesting, informative keynote. I want to move on to the next pitch, because when speaking about ventures, of course, you need to speak about also startups. So the concept, the idea was that we have 2 projects now coming up, that one is a startup already existing, and then the next is a student startup, because we also want to encourage the youth to be more active in our Silk Road 4.0 world. So I would like to start first with a pitch from Anna Shahinian from Armenia, from Yerevan. And in order just to be safe with the internet connection, we asked her to record the pitch as a video. So I'm now looking at Shu, asking Shu to start the video.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining the event. Today, when we discuss AI, we inevitably start with data privacy, not only because regulations require it, but because as humans we have a deep desire to maintain autonomy over our information. We know that good data leads to good AI. But there is a critical shift. More data doesn't always mean better AI. In complex fields like healthcare, we often aim for big data to capture complexity. Yet this approach pushes us toward heavy, costly, energy-demanding AI models that creates an ecological burden, which ironically impacts our health, the very thing AI promises to improve. So instead of more, the real need is smart data for smart AI. And here is where the narrative often turns from optimism to worry. The moment we talk about intelligent AI, the conversation shifts to fear. Should we be afraid of AI taking over our jobs? Let's reflect. Do we really assume that humanity has solved all major problems and now the only thing left is to automate the task we perform? Over 80% of healthcare budget still goes to chronic disease management. There is so much unsolved. Yes, AI automates. But more importantly, AI reveals new patterns, generates insights, and enables scientific progress without the need for costly physical labs, purely through data analysis. With that, AI has the power to democratize healthcare and science. But there is more. AI is built on the past. AI learns from the historical data, our previous actions, mistakes, and successes. That means when we fear of AI, we often fear of reflection of our own past work, past biases, past limitations. We, as humans, are for the future. So the question isn't will AI replace us, but rather how do we guide AI so the past informs us without limiting the future? However, to unlock this potential, our mindset is critical, and here we need education system to be evolved. If we treat AI purely as consumers, clicking, prompting, expecting miracles, we deepen a consumeristic attitude that risks turning us into technological dependence. Instead, we need to choose to be collaborators, subjects actively shaping the future, the technology, not objects shaped by it. This is why we created FiBrain, not to replace jobs, but to enable cooperation among researchers and teams with different levels of expertise, tech expertise. The future isn't something to fear, it is something to design. We can make tomorrow as bright as we are willing to build it. AI is our bridge from past experience to future innovation, if we choose to walk across it together. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anna. So, as you know, Armenia is also very close to my heart. In 2018, I passed by Yerevan, meeting my dear friend and now Vice President David Sahakian, who will give a short presentation later at the last stage of our event. I would like to ask the colleagues from Zagreb to give us their short pitch. So it's a very interesting project that I definitely consider very worth to be supported. So for the next 3 minutes, I want the colleagues from the CIADUS project.
Hello, Philip, can you hear us?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. I'm not sure if I was muted.
Okay, great.
The stage is yours. So the CIADUS, the colleagues from Zagreb now taking the stage. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Frank Krasnic, co-founder of CIADUS and student with a disability. And I'm not alone. About 900 students in Croatia and more than 1.1 million students across the EU face the same. When I started university, My faculty really tried to help, but together we realized that support system doesn't really work because it doesn't exist. You see, most universities lack structured support, so students with disabilities are left to rely on luck, improvise, or just give up. This can lead to isolation, missed opportunities, and even dropouts. This is why I created CIADUS, a unique digital platform. It connects students with disabilities with their colleagues, student assistants, similarly to how Tinder matches people. Assistants can earn STS points, which can be a valuable addition to their academic path, and faculty personnel represented by assistant coordinators get simple tools to track everything easily. CIADUS is modular and scalable, and from beginning of December, we plan to pilot at the Faculty of Economics and Business in Zagreb. And with 130 institutions in Croatia and more than 4,000 across the EU, there is no publicly available, structured, and scalable solution in place. CIADUS aims to be the first. And as accessibility becomes the EU priority, institutions that adopt CIADUS will position themselves as pioneers of inclusive education, which can open doors towards EU funding and boost their reputation. Our main clients are universities and individual faculties, and we offer low one-time setup fee plus an annual subscription. We are a young team of 5 students, and we are currently raising funds to train our team, hire part-time help, and improve the platform. In the future, we plan to expand CIADUS to support students who are transitioning from education to the job market. They already believe in us, and with your support, we are ready to bring real inclusion into higher education, because CIADUS means more than help. It means dignity, structure, and opportunity. So let's make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please keep me in the loop. I'm more than happy to support. I'm deeply impressed by this initiative. And yeah, let's continue our discussion. Maybe also our colleague David Zakian, maybe he has also some ideas how we can help you move forward and do the next steps. Thank you so much, and great to have Zagreb joining. That's the first time that our colleagues from Croatia are joining. I'm more than happy to welcome you for the next Global Future Summits. So for those who are new to Silk Road, we have a very deep, close friendship with Zagreb. So I think the 16th Silk Road event was actually in Croatia with Professor Kosenka Dumancic joining as an organizer, as a local organizer. So back then I was in Zagreb, so I'm also very emotionally close to Zagreb. Thank you so much for this inspirational pitch.
Thank you.
Hi, Kosenka.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
This unfortunately also brings us a little bit to the end of the day. So we are moving to the next speaker, Mark Tarago. So Mark, please also join us in on the stage. So as you know, the upcoming event, the next Global Future Summit, is on April 14th, 2026. So people always ask me, so where is it taking place? Well, the problem with a distributed event, by definition, there is not one single location where things are taking place, but there are 20 cities around the world where things are happening. So if we speak about the next upcoming event, we speak about my moderation, where I will be physically. And the idea is that I will be in Dubai, and that during the AIM Congress, we will make a parallel session where I will moderate the Global Future Summit from the AIM Congress. So I'm just looking at Mark Tarago. Here we go. Here I see you. I'm putting you on spotlight. Mark, so lovely to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
It's always great. So we met in China. We were traveling around a bit for several days. And the idea is that for those people who want to stay locally, please, please, please be more than welcome to stay in your local community, attend the Global Future Summit in your home city, in your hometown. But if you want to meet in one central location once a year, then we wanted to offer you a possibility to do so. And that's why we have partnered up with the EM Congress. I had the privilege of speaking at the last EM Congress in June, it was, I think, 2025, where we also signed an MOU. And Mark, do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and, of course, the EM Congress, so that people know a little bit more what they can expect in case they want to decide to go and meet as a community in one location? Mark, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you so much, Philip, for the introduction. First of all, it has been a while since the first time that we met, and all the things that we have done when I was in Barcelona in 2024, that we also use the platform to create content and to talk about the Silk Road 4.0, right? So basically, I'm not sure if you are going to share your screen or I need to share mine.
Please feel free to share your screen. You can do. You should be a panelist, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I can do it now. So basically, as Philip said, AIM Congress is a platform, an event that we organize in Dubai, led by the Ministry of Foreign Trade of UAE and His Excellency Dr. Tani, who is the Minister of Foreign Trade, is our AIM Congress president. So basically, it's an event focused on investment, and we try to generate investment on different levels, government to government, investment for business, business to business, and obviously business to government. So initially, AIM Congress was a platform that we created 15 years ago for attracting FDI in emerging countries, but the event has been evolving until today, adding different portfolios. And currently, we have three main investment pillars. One focus on FDI, global trade, and global manufacturing. Another one focus on future cities, future finance, and digital economy. So everything related to smart cities, technology, and banking solutions. And the third one is investment in everything related to startups, unicorns, entrepreneurs, and of course, artificial intelligence, as you have been aware during the event today that all of us, we are also looking at artificial intelligence solutions. Okay, so this year in 2025 in the event we had more than 15,000 visitors from 181 different nationalities and countries. So it means the international platform that AIM Congress is. And the most important thing is that we are very well connected on the public and governmental side. So we welcome 9 head of states. One of them, David from Armenia. So the president of Armenia was doing the opening at AIM Congress 2025. We welcome more than 74 different ministers that they came to Abu Dhabi last edition to try to generate investment for their countries. We had more than 200 high-level dignitaries and more than 1,300 speakers at AIM. So basically, for 2026, we plan to obviously to increase the numbers, but to focus on investment for both public and private sector, which is the main priority for the government, to try to attract companies that they want to establish new business opportunities, not only in UAE, also in UAE as a bridge to all the GCC and Middle East region. Okay, so due to the location, Dubai is very well positioned, connecting all the Asian region with Africa, with Europe, and we are also looking at US and Latin America. So I will share my LinkedIn profile with you in the chat. So for anything you may need, feel free to reach out to me. You are more than welcome. And hopefully we can meet all of you directly on site during AIM 2026 in Dubai. And hopefully we will create more engagement with all the SIGRO 4.0 community. So that's all from my side. Thank you, Philip. And nobody said this, but I know how difficult it is to organize events and how difficult it is to do it online with different locations, regions, and cities. So congrats for the perfect organization today.
Thank you so much, dear Mark. I'm very grateful for hearing these praises. I just wanted to share one slide myself because December 2023, this is I think November 2023, it was when I met Mark in China, and when I pitched him the first time the idea of, hey, let's do something crazy. Why not organize something at the same time in 10 cities? And what you see here, the slide that I'm currently sharing with you, is essentially me on stage in this kind of a TEDx setup when Mark trusted me with this concept. So I was moderating the very first event in the new setup with 20 cities around the world at the same time. Actually, back then we wanted to have 10. We already had 16 at the very start. And Mark was, so to say, one of the fathers of this new concept. So I'm very grateful for Mark, for this trust, for this friendship. And yeah, I want to really invite everyone who wants to travel around, who meets in person. We are organizing this delegation trip to visit Mark. Also, I'm just smiling towards the startups here. Maybe there is some funding somewhere in Dubai, just saying. So you never know.
Funding is there, so they need to catch up.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mark. It was wonderful to have you with us. Thank you for joining today. And
Sure.
I'm looking forward to see you latest on site in person in Dubai in April 14th. And before we will discuss, of course, the concrete next steps. Okay. Bye-bye, Mark. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
So this leads me to the next traveling. So we are currently now traveling again to Germany. So I'm smiling at Syed Muntasir Mamun. You already know him for those who have been around with Silk Road for quite some time. Muntasir is the Chief Innovation Officer of Bangladesh. He's also a General Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And yeah, we are working on several projects with Muntasir. One is the Fluid Organization initiative that he is pushing forward. And the other topic is the wisdom papers, but I will leave it to Muntasir to elaborate a little bit more on what is going on this. So Muntasir, so wonderful to see you. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. It's a real privilege, but most importantly, you know, it's such an irony that 10 years before when we had started the discussions, you had been in Austria and I was in Dhaka and in Oxford, but that now you are on the other side in Southeast Asia and I'm back in on your side. So that's a very interesting place. We wanted to meet up. I think the meeting up is happening crisscrossed. Today, I'm here from Bangladesh, of course, but I believe that the ideas that we are going to pitch here is not entirely a Bangladeshi set of ideas, rather it's based on last 7 years of observations in the Asia Parliament Summit, and also the things that we had been working on, the MVIEs, the fluid organisms, the algorithmic development states, a few other things, a few other things that we have been discussing. But more than that, we'd like to probably set the priorities straight for Munich and Berlin to take the lead. The way that we see to it is that we are faced with choices, and the choices are quite stark. Probably the timelines that we have been discussing with, and focusing on are coming closer. closer to reality, closer to our own real time. So yes, Guten Morgen, if I'm not wrong. I could have said Guten Tag, but then Guten Morgen looks better and more inspiring. So I believe that, or we believe, we had been discussing with our German sponsor, the Berlin place with BWA, that these are exciting times, and probably Silk Road 4.0 needs to take a lead in the way that things are happening, and things ought to happen. The discussions, the discourses, the dialogues, and the epistemologies. What we have is
sorry,
moving.
1 second. Try now.
See, the roots of our discussions have always gone back to three things that we have been working on for the last 10 years. Institutional voids, which the Global South is imbued with, endowed with, blessed with, that we have voids, we have deficiencies, deficits in politics, economics, trade, technology, and other areas. We have inchoate demands. We know that we want something, except that we just cannot articulate what we want. And then we have complementary asset portfolios. We have investments, we have enterprises, we have assets, except that we don't know how to engage them and leverage with them. So the building blocks that we have been working with is connecting markets, connecting minds, connecting technologies, and then coming up with organisms which these days we're calling fluid organisms. Of course, it's based on fluid dynamics, but slightly more than that. It's adaptive, agentic, agile. We'll not go into the details of it because I believe that our partners from all over the world would like to know a little bit more about what the priorities are. The mechanics of it, we'll leave it for a separate knowledge session, probably where Philip and others can also participate in a bigger way. These are things which we have been experimenting with. But now what we have seen is that the frontier technologies earlier, 10 years before, 15 years before, the set of frontier technologies had been slightly different. AI, of course, it's been there. It's been in our mind, on the papers, everywhere. Of course, AI. Quantum, this year is the year of the quantum in the UN. There's also photonics. And coupled with all these three, we have the mathematics evolving with it. Then there is this accessing the minds, evolutionary biology, biologics, and epigenetics. The reason that I'm mentioning this here is because I just remember, I tend to forget things. The reason being, since we don't use it much, we tend to forget. I and my wing is connected to 15,000 students, medical students in Bangladesh. Imagine 15,000 fresh, young medical students, top of the line, and with all their medical colleges. How much of research and development is at stake? How much could be leveraged by anyone? And trust me, not a single one of them is connected to any organization outside anywhere, except for, of course, exchange students. So the accessing the history of time is probably where the next research would be, accessing the DNAs, accessing protein folds, accessing biosynthetics. These are the issues that that probably will be coming up together. That's how we see to it. I'm just giving you a glimpse of what we're dealing with. Use cases. We have certain use cases in innovation. One of them is, see, whenever that someone says that we'd like to do something bigger, and we'd like to make things better, the first question is who's going to finance it? Where the money is coming from? Our idea is the global commons and the public space of services, goods. It's an uncharted territory. It's an unforeseen blue ocean area where we have whole host of wealth, income, and value generation possibilities. It's just not only fiat currencies, but also the value and the income that you can generate out of it. So what we have is, we'll share the papers with you, a dual core equity and finance model for impact, equity-backed tourism, not only tourism per se, but also probably global movements are also part of this, distributed learning and connected research, and maybe shortening the time that is needed for a child to become fully functional in the society, in the industrial community. And one thing, the last one is algorithmic developmental state. What we believe is that Westphalian state systems are probably coming to the end of the line, and we need to find out the strengths which actually drive states, nations, nation states, and regions. So one of the other novel concepts, along with the fluid organisms that we're dealing with or working on, is algorithmic development state, that with the help of ICT, information and communications technology, and AI, the power of the hidden state, it's not the deep state, it's the hidden state, the hidden layer, the power of the community, the society, the individual friendships, that's coming to the fore. And in days ahead, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, probably will be facing that power in its full form. Certain global processes are taking shape. This is where I believe that I draw your attention to. First is the Global Dialogue on AI Governance. Second, Independent International Scientific Panel on AI. Third, UNESCO Global Forum on the Ethics of AI. This is where we believe that, at least I believe, and my team believes, that the Silk Road needs to focus on. I believe that we have entrepreneurial spirit teeming across the Silk Road domain, the entire spectrum of it. But this needs to translate into global processes which are deployed in the UN, in the World Bank, in the IMF, and also amongst the G7 countries, G8 countries also, maybe the GCC, and that the epistemology with which these powerful identities are working probably need to take cognizance of what's happening, what is at stake. Particularly for me, who's coming from the bottom of pyramid markets, for the base of pyramid markets, these are the issues which relate to me, which bother me, that is not being addressed. Advancing equity and capacity building, transparency and human oversight, openness and interoperability. These are issues which we believe that's a win-win situation, win-win place where all of us can win, but somehow or the other, it's not getting reflected in the global processes which are there. And I believe that if Silk Road could raise a voice, then the state parties, see, Global South is how many countries? More than 80, 85 countries, or maybe 100 countries. Or not only the ADCs, but also the developing countries. So the whole of Africa almost, the whole of South Asia almost, the whole of East Asia almost, half of it at least, maybe the half of East Europe, maybe the entirety of South America, maybe half of North America. So literally the whole of the world is in that bucket, except that this articulation is not taking place. So markets, enterprises, technologies, processes are not getting connected to the majority identity of the human individual. That's where we want Silk Road to focus in. Not only the entrepreneurial part, that's very good, that's an important part, but then translate part of the energy into these priorities. The next is the global AI discourses, because we believe the hypothesis is in next 6, 12, 18 months of time, major breakthroughs will come up in artificial intelligence. See, still now what we have is maybe we have some agents, but artificial intelligence is based on language models. Language models are as they are, it's language models. So it's basically spatial dispersion of languages, tokens, and then you come up with solutions. This is okay. This helps us short circuit some of our more mundane research processes, but it's not very encouraging for real foundational research. It helps, but it doesn't really lead. But artificial intelligence is basically real intelligence, which is coming. And for that, we need to have discourses which reflect the aspirations, ambitions, competence, not only competencies, but also contingencies and adjacencies of markets which come into place. There's the whole milieu, the ecosystem of actors, agents, players, strategies, objectives, and also the strength of the state system, which is at stake. We believe that Silk Road ought to be there. We call this initiative that you have in Silk Road Track 1.5. It's not exactly a government process, definitely not. It's not exactly a fully owned private process either. It's somewhere in between. Like I'm a sitting ambassador or a director general, the chief innovation officer of a government, but I'm here, very much here, at heart. Why? Because we have faith and belief in the system that we have put in place. The discussions that we had 10 years before is now taking shape. It's around us. Imagine if this discussion could transcend, and that's what probably, Philip, your wisdom paper series is something that fascinates me. So AI for Good Global Summit, World Summit on Information Society, which is this month, December. Internet Governance Forum and Global AI Governance Dialogue. These are the four particular UN-led agencies and bodies where I want the Silk Road to make a presence and make its presence felt. Global Industry Connect, NVIDIA's World Summit AI Summit London, Global AI Show in the Middle East, Abu Dhabi. These are areas where I would also like to see Silk Road, or at least its allied organizations, make a stand, take a stand, and convey this message. You see, I'm not here speaking only for Bangladesh, because we have friends from other parts of the world who wanted us to speak about this. And slowly this process is becoming a multilateral, multinational, transcultural priority. The priorities in these areas, both in the AI dialogues and also in the industry connect, is universal connectivity and digital inclusion. That's on top of the list. Ethical AI and sustainability for development. Multi-stakeholder collaboration and representation. I'll add one more to it, which is a market focus. That we need to understand what the markets are. Not only the factor markets, not only the consumer markets, but also the interactions between and amongst the markets. I was having a discussion with our Berlin sponsor, the Berlin host, and I was just thinking that what if I could connect 100,000 of my SMEs, which is just maybe nowhere, because we have 6 to 7 million of SMEs in Bangladesh. If you could connect just 100,000 of them to BWA, how many weak signal connections would be made in just 1 year's time? How many strong signals would be made? Because most of these SMEs are connected to the global markets. Digital divides must close. Let people survive, thrive, and then grow together. This is a wonderful word. And we are absolutely on the precipice of time. WS priorities, I'll just focus on this, and then information and communication infrastructure, access to information and knowledge, particularly multilingual digital public goods. These things need to be focused on. What I see, particularly in the revision 1 and revision 2 is coming up for table discussions. I would like to see that Silk Road and its member and allied countries take an interest in WSIO's priorities and see if these issues can be focused on, if their respective governments, and also civil society bodies could look into these areas. See, C4, the capacity building and building confidence. This is also an area. These are also areas where we need to work on. We believe that WSIS, the process, the World Information Society process, which the summit is coming up in the middle of December, needs to take into account, because these are, WSIS is there for the last 20 years. But this year's WSIS is very important, because these 2 years, the next 2 years, will oversee massive foundational transformations in the way technology, particularly artificial intelligence, information and communication technology, is perceived, conceived, and augmented, leveraged by anyone and everyone in the world. And if we're speaking about World Information Society, then the countries, the states, everyone has a stake there. But I still don't see much interest from people who should have had some interest. At least that's what I believe. As a developing nation, I want to see that other developing nations and also the developed states have taken interest in the processes which is going there. Don't just make it another diplomatic instrument which no one reads. It's a 120 or 150 paragraph document which no one reads. Make it something which is aspirational and ambitious. But more than that, one of the other reasons that I'm looking at it, particularly this WSIS, is because this will feed into the LLMs. These documents will go and shepherd the ideas that are given to us back by any foundation model, because these are the guardrails that's coming from the epistemological and ontological aspiration and assessments of artificial intelligence and information societies. The next set is ICT applications, particularly e-business, e-government, e-health, e-learning, e-agriculture. I have been listening to each of the pitches very carefully for last couple of hours. And it's fascinating, but I don't see the reflection of these market-based solutions in the UN papers which is coming up. Now, someone might say that UN has a different role to play. Yes, UN did have a different role to play, but I think the future UN must have a different set of rules to play with. Because if it doesn't, then it becomes irrelevant. The state parties will still be there, but would the common person, be it a European, be it an Asian person, be it a South Asian person, would he or she relate to it? I'm afraid not, unless it speaks about business, unless it speaks about the human individual and its capacity to participate in that milieu. The last, international and regional cooperation. Creating global South-led partnerships, South-South, North, North-South partnerships. Partnerships which could be underwritten by a limited public stakeholding, but more than that, the processes of it. That's where the other area that we are discussing about, the algorithmic developmental state that comes in. So for this set of priorities that we have mapped out here, we have documents and documentation. I'll share the papers with Philip and the rest of us so that we can all have a look at it and create a cybernetic future, at least for next 2 years, and see how best we can reap our benefits out of it. As again, discussing with our friends from the federal ministries here, we are probably from Bangladesh and in Germany, we're probably at par in terms of our ideations. The difference is all that we have is on paper. I want to access the systems which is already deployed there. It's idle compared to what I would like to do it with. So in terms of accessing this capability, I'd like to have a rights-based approach and also a market-based approach. That is not only that, okay, give it as charity. No, we want to bring in individuals. We want to bring in families and enterprises into the ecosystem where they can be most meaningfully utilized. Let the market decide. And those decisions, let it be underwritten by a UN or UN-oriented or United Nations-led process, so that this is reflected in the Leaders Summit, or let's say the General Assembly next year, September. I don't see those things being reflected anywhere. And that's my personal opinion, of course. And I'd be very happy if I'm found to be incorrect, but I don't see that. But those things need to be there. The global leadership must wake up to what the globe is waking up to. And probably Silk Road is something which ought to and which can take a lead there. So Silk Road 4.0, I have identified a few areas where I believe that Philip would have interest, David is interested, BWAs might also be interested, and probably not only might, I'm sure that there will be live wisdom papers, the papers that we're working on, make them live. Let anyone and everyone participate in it. EdTech, FinTech, GovTech, let all the papers that we're working with be live, be on the market. Let people participate, communicate, and then intervene as they own, so that the technology which will be coming out of it would be shared, would be staked by individuals on their own. Live R&D, live diplomacy for that matter, not like the old diplomatic style that you're connected to an elite core and then you don't really know exactly what's happening in the market. No, creating horizons beyond Westphalian borders. So that's where we'd like to end our intervention from Berlin. It's not entirely a Bangladeshi perspective. We must understand by now. This is something that I see at the multilateral forum and also in our discussions with Germany at this moment. Maybe we'd like to bring Munich and Warsaw in the fold, and see how we can proceed from there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mutasir, for your explanations. So you mentioned or you raised a couple of topics, and that's perfectly fitting into the flow of our conference, because we are now also coming into the topic of what can we do? How can we engage? How can we partner up? And you mentioned very interesting points that we should focus on. And I just want to show you, because this is rather new for within the last half a year, you know, we were working very hard on the organizational build-up. So the the work was not so much done in the public, but the last half year, actually, it was a base work that we did with building the business club. Well, David will speak more at the very end of our conference, but also the not-for-profit association that we are currently working on, and also the team that is working in the background. So I want to also use this as a call for action. If you want to be part of Silk Road, if you want to engage in the subject that Muntasia was just proposing, please reach out, please become a team member, please join us to drive all those issues forwards that Muntasia has just mentioned. So thank you so much for joining, Muntasia. Like always, it's a great pleasure having you with us. And I'm very much looking forward to continuing our work on the wisdom papers. Just to briefly mention the concept of the wisdom papers. So essentially, Muntasia and I were having a bilateral discussion, and this discussion was recorded and transcribed using an AI note taker. And then we used the transcript and ChatGPT-5 in order to write a scientific paper. And that was really interesting to see what an AI like ChatGPT plus the input of hopefully experts can do, what kind of insights, thoughts that Muntasia and I were not thinking of, what else is out there that is outside of our knowledge zone, our knowledge bubble, so to say, and then to even deep dive more into the subject, more than just two people could do. So I'm really want to invite all of you, if you want to be involved in the creation of this, we call it wisdom papers, please reach out, please connect with partners, please use the form to indicate with whom you want to get in touch with, so we can keep you in the loop, and also to work together with Muntasia and us of Silk Road 4.0 to further create more knowledge papers. Thank you so much, Muntasia. Also a big thank you for our host, our long-term friend in Berlin, the BWA, who kindly offered to host Muntasia today in Germany. Always a great pleasure to have you with us, Andreas. Thank you for making it possible. Thank you for being a long-term partner. With that being said, I want to move on to the next partner. And this is the second last presentation of today. So we should be able to make it just perfectly in time. And that is our partner, Eco-Civilization. So I would like to ask Manica Celofiga to join us on stage, on the global stage, to briefly pitch Eco-Civilization. I'm just looking if she's already in the, here we go, I see her, adding a spotlight also on Manica. So lovely seeing you. We only briefly met during another event of Eco-Civilization. So please feel free to present Eco-Civilization. So for those who are new to Silk Road, I got involved or got in touch with Eco-Civilization when I invited Violetta Bulc, the former commissioner of the European Commission for Mobility and Transport, to join us in one of the Silk Road 4.0 events. And she's also, Violetta is also one of the co-founders, or the curator, as I think she calls herself, for Eco-Civilization. So Manica, the floor is all yours. Please feel free to briefly introduce in the next 3 minutes Eco-Civilization.
Yes, thank you, Philip, and thank you all the speakers before. It was really inspiring how we all are here to balance this new AI coming in, and digitalization and workplace changes and project changes. And Eco-Civilization movement actually developed exactly because of that. We are here to consider, where are we leading our ships? So where do we want to dock in this digital era? And it's societal models. So we integrate ecological sustainability and environmental harmony as fundamental principles, hand in hand with the development of awareness of human civilization. So we are not only to connect and take care of our planet, but also for our humanity that might got lost connect with digitalization. So this is definitely a holistic approach, what we are doing, and we are envisioning this harmonious coexistence between humanity and the planet, recognizing that the health and prosperity of both are intertwined. And while we are doing this, we know that all the technology, all the projects that we are running, they demand human sanity. And the chaos that is reaching us with all the tools, with all the applications, is calling us really to care for humanity, to conduct the safe space for our engagement, collaboration, and all those innovations, that we put the human being in the center, so we don't lose ourselves in the technology coming in. So we are emerging for the foundations for the future civilization that we want to see. So eco-civilization movement basically is ecological civilization of people who human well. So we want to reimagine a vibrant relationship with the planet Earth, to deliver solutions for the humanity to thrive along with the planet and beyond, to connect people that care. So again, we are the most important here in collaboration, in imagination and respect and compassion, the values that connect us and principles, socio-technology, of course, combining our society with the development of technology that cannot be overlooked, system science, so looking at everything holistically, not forgetting our spiritual transformation that is the basis of our capacity to basically handle the technological improvement. And this is what I heard from the CAT and from my previous speaker. We really need this spiritual capacity. I said this is basically quantum resilience of today, of the human being that is capable of really make the AI literacy. Because as you brought up the percentage, that there is no maturity of using AI, and the AI projects are dropping down in 90% just in Europe, because the data is incorrect, because the knowledge about AI is not sufficient. So we have to adjust the speed to our capacity of absorbing everything. So relationship-based value create the society that will be able to cope with all of that. So the goals that we have are by 2050. So we are looking at everything long term. We know that everything needs some adaptability time, and we really see the Earth as an eco zone in the universe, relationships as a base of values that we create. And we want to be this responsible stewardship as the way of managing the Earth's shared resources, because we all know no Earth, no human beings. Peace as foundation of sustainable coexistence. We all know that fear leads to violence, and violence leads to limitation of the most sustainable energy in the world, that's love. So what we are hoping for now, that we are working locally in 50 countries in the world. So our goal is to get into 100 countries included in actions on local, global level. Our strategy, building capacities for resilience and adaptations and so on. So our current focus were in the year before, water, soil and air, the basic ingredients without which
Wonderful, Manica. Thank you so much for this introduction to eco-civilization. Unfortunately, I have to be a little bit mindful of the time. So, but we are more than happy to collaborate very closely with eco-civilization. Violetta kindly invited us also to be part of your upcoming AI event circle that you're organizing. I'm more than happy to get involved. I love the vision. I love the importance of eco-civilization. Thank you so much for joining, Manica. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just as a very last speaker of the day, 8 minutes left before we call it a very long, very intense a knowledge sharing global endeavor that we did. I'm just smiling at Yerevan. I also see Diana joining. Hi, Diana. I don't think that we actually had so much of a chance to speak in person. So Diana was heavily working on behind the scenes. So if you saw some LinkedIn posts, social media posts, Diana, also Sevan. Also, I really want to mention Shu, who did an amazing job in the last days here. Madina also, who made it possible that today was happening and the event took place. So a big heartful thank you, as I can see Diana here on the screen. So David, I want to see you're sharing the slides. Wonderful to have you, my friend. So please feel free to share how people can get involved. So we do have this not-for-profit part that was towards, for example, eco-civilization, but also we do offer a for-profit collaboration, and that's what we have the Global Business Club for. So David, please feel free, the floor is all yours. You're still muted, just a second. I cannot yet hear you. I see that the microphone is not activated yet. Yes, here we go.
Do you hear me? Do you see me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank all the speakers, all the participants in not only online, but in all 20 plus cities and regions. It's amazing. And as a continuation of showing the whole volume and value that Silk Road 4.0 is bringing to the society, I would like to finish with my presentation related to the Global Business Club. So, as many times we mentioned, both me and Philip, I was involved in Silk Road 4.0 starting from 2017. And sometimes, as I joke, I get infected with the idea of Silk Road 4.0. And after leaving the ministry in 2024, I got fully sick with this idea and initiative. And during my so-called infected period, I was regularly participating in all Global Future Summit events, and I saw the value that it brings, the community that it is created, and how it works and how the community members are interacted between each other. And after getting sick, starting from last year, I was fully involved institutionally in all activities related to the Silk Road 4.0, Global Future Summit, and other activities. And I saw the real value how Silk Road 4.0 can benefit to the business, to the community members, to the all participants. And 3-4 months ago, we started the discussion with Philip to sort of make an infrastructure in such a way that community members can interact between each other and create a value for the world. So we created Global Business Club, which has the all resources and connection means between the community members. So Business Club is where trusted leaders, innovators, and investors unite their scale to scale ventures, to open markets and shape the rules of tomorrow's AI-driven world. So we have our mission. Silk Road has its own mission and vision that is spread it both to the Global Future Summit, to the Global Business Club, and to other activities that we are organizing. By the way, pay attention that all activities that we are doing, the labeling is starting from the world global, because whatever we are doing with our members, it's a global. We have also Global Academy for Future Governance. We have Global Startup Ecosystem Development Program. We have Global Innovation Centers Program. So whatever we are doing, it's very global. So who we are, you can see from the map. You can see from the map that there are many dots. So pictures are closing South America dots. So we are widespread it over the world. So this allows us to help our members to find a partner literally from every country in the world. And this is the real power that Global Future Summit and Silk Road 4.0 has. So as I said, we are represented in 20 plus countries. During this period, starting from 2017, when Philip started this initiative, we have more than 2,000 curated introductions. This curated introduction is very important. Later, I will explain a little bit what does it mean. And we have more than 100 ventures supported through our network. So, so we have group of services that we are presenting, we are providing to our members. It's a knowledge at east side. It's a group of services that Business Club is providing to our members. By the way, we have already members registered, so-called paid members. So it's a participation, opportunity to participation, Global Future Summit, also to opportunity to receive our newsletters, to be part of our educational and scientific so-called initiatives that we are running. The second part of our group of our services are project initiation and ventures building, which means that we support our members to get introduced to each other and to develop new projects, new ventures, and provide institutional support to all these kind of initiatives. The third part or group of our services is support with the fundraising. It includes curated introductions to the investors, supporting with the financial documentation preparation for additional fees, etc. What does it mean, the curated introduction? So Global Business Club is not just a list of members, list on telephone or email addresses. We as a global business club, we work with each member of our club, identify their needs, their problems, and we find the corresponding partner or entity who can support to solve this problem. And we don't provide the only telephone number. We organize their meeting, we organize the introduction of members to each other, and then it will increase the efficiency of introductions many, many times. So the fourth group of services is a business development. It again includes curated introduction and supporting with the participation to the expos, conferences that we are going to organize, not only Global Future Summit, but also in the framework of our partners' events. We will have an ability to, let's say, provide corresponding windows of participation for our members. The fifth group is sales and marketing. Again, curated introductions, one-to-one curated introductions to potential customers. And the last but not least is a leadership and recognition. We have specialized committees that our members will able to join. We will have awards like the Member of the Month or the Innovator of the Month, etc., etc. So based on what we said or what I said, we distinguished, we created 4 types of the members. So starter and silver, gold, and diamond. So what is the difference? So we have 2 types, I would say, potential members that are coming from the 2 types of countries, developed countries and developing countries. So we understood based on our research that the prices that corresponds to the members from the developed countries can be not affordable for the potential members from the developing countries. So that's why for the developing countries, we have created starter and silver membership types. And for members from the developed countries, we created gold and diamond. So the advantage of the Global Business Club is, as I said, that the relationship is more curated, not crowded. It's value-driven, not just transactional. It connects not just market, but it connects culture and mindset. It blends hard tech with the deep humanity, AI, governance, ethics, innovation, diplomacy, and it creates continuity, not one-off event. So the Global Business Club and Global Future Summit form the combined platform where people don't just network, they co-create the future. And based on that, if this is interesting for you, you can go to our website, check our website, silver4.0.com, and then you can see Global Business Club. So in what is needed as a call to action to become a member is, first of all, to choose the membership level, and then download the code of honor, sign it, and fill out the application form, upload the signed code of honor, and then automatically you will receive the letter that welcome to the business club. Your supervisor or supporter is certain person based on your region. You saw, Philip showed the website. We have country directors, regional directors. So a corresponding regional director will be attached to you to support with the further actions. And then when payment is made, the 1 hour call will be organized with you. During this call will be revealed all the problems that needs that you face with your business, and then the 1 year roadmap will be prepared and presented to you, how the business club is going to help you with a solution of your problem or improvement of your business. This is the end. Thank you very much, and looking forward to work with you, to collaborate with you, and let's change the world together.
Love it. I love the last statement. David, as you know, changing the world is my passion. So this final remark was exactly what I love to do, what I love to hear, and where I really want to bring us all people together. There is this saying of if you are crazy enough to think that you can change the world, you can do it. And I think if we just find the right people, all of us joining, coming together, making this a place where we can really facilitate the change. Wonderful. So please feel free to join our business club. I will took the liberty to share the link also in the Zoom call. If you're not joining via Zoom, but for example on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, then please feel free to also follow our LinkedIn page, Silk Road 40 4.0. You will find in the following days, weeks, ongoing our social media activities. You will learn more about what's going on in our Silk Road 4.0 family. It would be lovely to see you all joining the Global Business Club in order you want to push forward your commercial projects. If you're not into commercial activities, if you're more into research or pro bono activities, then please also follow our Silk Road 4.0 LinkedIn page. We continue work on the Silk Road 4.0 Association for the not-for-profit activities. And yeah, thank you all for joining today. We are slightly 9 minutes over time. I mean, for a 3.5 hour session, I think that's not too bad. Only 9 minutes above. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all the 20 locations for bringing your friends, partners together. It was wonderful to see you. I'm looking forward to also see you all in hopefully next year's session. So a big bye-bye to our global community. So we will have a detailed review of the questions that have been raised during the event. So we'll organize follow-up calls, follow-up sessions, follow-up involvement. And again, if you want to join, if you want to get more involved, reach out to us. Social media is your friend. Follow us. Please don't expect me to reply on emails at the moment. That's a little bit my personal bottleneck. So the best is if you have my WhatsApp contacts, please just send me a quick message. I will route you to the best person and partner to answer your request. Having said this, thank you all for joining. It was wonderful. For me, it was a very insightful discussion. Thank you all for all the speakers for the thought-provoking insights. Thank you all the local partners for bringing your communities together. Let's stay in touch and let's make the magic happen. So all the best from Hanoi. Also a big thank you to the colleagues from FPT who made it possible that I'm moderating the event here from from Vietnam. And yeah, looking forward to see you all together very soon. All the best. Cheers.